To mark Wesley So's recent victory in the Skilling Open, I'd like to show you some more of his games. And this one is great fun, really wild, played in the recent US Championship. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and do consider supporting us via Patreon or PayPal. Links down there. You also find the links in the video description as well if you want to click through from there. So here we go. Sam Shankland with the white pieces against Wesley So. Now, this US Championship, of course, this year was run online as a rapid play event. Wesley won absolutely convincingly with 9 out of 11. Perhaps we shouldn't have been surprised at his success in the Skilling Open. And, well, against top opposition, the only top player from the US that wasn't taking part was Fabiano Caruana. But Hikaru Nakamura was playing, Dominguez was playing, Sam was playing, former US champion. Really tough opposition, but Wesley won convincingly with 9 out of 11. Jeffrey Seong was second with 8.5. He was the closest. But let's concentrate on Wesley and this game. So Sam Shankland plays f3. Now I always think of Sam as being, a really good theoretician. He knows his openings extremely well. So if he's playing f3, then you've got to watch out. It's a very, very sharp line. d5 from Wesley. a3. Now, one can drop the bishop back to e7, but Wesley goes, well, for a very old move, taking on c3 and then playing c5. It feels natural to hit out in the centre. Pawn takes pawn on d5, and now knight takes d5. Now, white has to be very careful here. There's, having played f3, then it's not so easy to develop that knight. Plus, this diagonal is open, and you've got to watch out for that queen coming out here as well. But white can take on c5. And one of the ideas is that you want to play e4 and actually exchange the queens. Then the fact that the king's in the middle isn't so serious. And you're playing with your two bishops. Wesley played queen a5, which is the standard move. e4 hits the knight, which drops back to e7. I remember analysing this for opening variation in the middle of a tournament in the Soviet Union. This was a long time before computer preparation, and I was really pleased with the line that I discovered with black. I was a Nimzo player. And then after a couple of hours, I realised that I'd actually been analysing the wrong position. I'd set up the position wrong, and I'd been analysing with the pawn on a2. And somehow this was crucial to the variation that I discovered. That's one thing about computers. At least you get the position right. So bishop e3 from Sam the Man. And here, if queen takes pawn check, then king f2. And actually, the king is fine on f2, well covered by the bishop. And the thing is, you're going to gain time against the knight. So actually, there's not a lot of point in taking that pawn. Castles. Now queen b3, defending the pawn. And knight d7 has been played here before, but queen c7 is the most common move. So the queen ducks back. It looks slightly funny to play queen a5 and then back again. But very often black is going to gain time against the queen with either knight c6 to a5 or sometimes e5 and bishop e6. Bishop b5, also standard. And here the most usual move is actually knight ec6. But Wesley played e5. Not so common, but an interesting idea. Just with the idea of bringing the bishop out here. Knight e2, bishop e6. And here, well, maybe Sam was fooled or just confused because e5 isn't so normal. He played c4, which is not the best move. In fact, bishop c4 is the computer recommendation here. But somehow, it goes against the grain to offer the exchange of bishops. Normally that's what you want as black here. You would want to exchange off the bishop pair. And, I mean, this looks absolutely playable for black to me. This pawn is going to be recovered fairly soon. I don't see that black is doing badly at all. But Sam played c4. And actually this is quite pleasant for black. Knight a5, the queen gets hit. And you can see that this bishop is the problem. That it can be forced away and then c4 drops. So already this is looking pretty pleasant for black. Queen is attacked and queen a4. And then a6. Threatening the bishop, which has to take on c6. And then here's the point. We don't have to recapture on c6 yet. Knight takes c4. Attacking the bishop. So if bishop d5, then we can play knight takes e3, and this is looking great for black. That's attacked, this is attacked, the king is still in the middle, isn't escaping very easily. It's great for black. So let's come back. Black has just taken on c4. Shankland hacks on, bishop takes b7. Knight takes bishop. Well, he careered on, bishop takes rook. And here, queen takes c5. Wesley didn't even bother recapturing one of the pieces. He just kept going. I mean, in a rapid play game where you don't have much time to calculate, then this is brave stuff. You have to go on intuition. This knight is attacked. Knight d5. Now here Wesley played knight takes g2 check. It's actually not the best move. He could have just played knight c2 and taken the rook in the corner. And here, well, in fact, material is even, sort of. And after this, for example, well, let's just recapture. Well, you can see that the queen is running riot at this end of the board. And what is white's king doing, staggering around in the middle? It must be good for black. So let's go back. So Wesley missed a pretty clear chance there. Instead, he played knight takes g2. Check. And knight back to f4. So he is a clear rook down, a whole rook down, but he has the initiative. It's actually an extremely dangerous position. Queen c6, of course. Sam would like to exchange queens. And now queen a5. I think it's about time that you had a little think in this position. How would you play here with white? White to play. This is a critical moment in the game. You have a think, I'll have a slurp of tea. See you in a few seconds. That is good stuff. So what should white play here? Sam played rook d1. It was not the best move. Let's have a look at some alternatives. What about queen c3? Trying to shut out black's queen? No. Queen b5 check is actually a winning move. Watch out for this queen swooping down to e2. And if king here, then knight e2 is going to fork king and queen. So queen c3, nope. Just one of the tricks in the position. Queen c3 loses. Knight takes f4 isn't bad. But black has enough here. Black has quite an initiative. After this move, well, be careful. Bishop h3 check is threatened. Black should have enough play. Well, with best play, this should end in a draw, actually. It's still pretty wild, but actually black has enough here. For example, after this, and, well, there are a few more adventures in the position, but black has enough play. So knight takes f4 is reasonable, but doesn't give white the advantage. The best move here, wait for it, did you spot this? Is rook a2, which guards some crucial squares along the second rank. Now, here black is still in the game after bishop h3 check, or maybe rook d8. Also, bishop h3 check and queen d8 is also interesting, bouncing around to attack the king from the other side. It's a really tricky position, but basically rook a2, certainly the best move. Let's go back. Not an obvious move by any stretch. But rook d1 was played. And now black wins. Bishop takes knight. And queen takes a3. It's so simple. The queen threatens to take on f3. There is really only one defense. If the king steps up, then watch out for a check on the second rank. And then a deadly check after that on e2 or g2. So d6 guards the pawn and could bring the queen back into the defense. But now black has a winning move. Queen b2. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Yep, the rooks are split and there is no defense, I'm afraid, on their own. They just can't operate very well. And there is no decent defense to these checks. I'm getting all Christmassy. It looks like a Christmas tree. There we are. Here the game went to queen e4. Queen g2. One of those rooks disappeared. Queen h2 check. King c3. Knight e2. And now basically the king is staggering all over the place. Still needs to be killed off. And now I really like this maneuver of the knight into d4, because this breaks the connection between rook and pawn and ensures that black is going to win this one. So really white has no decent counterplay when the pawn has no support. And the game finished like this. d7, still a bit scary, but queen a2 and queen and knight, as ever, are a really deadly combination. That was actually the final move of the game, queen b3. Well, the game could end like this. King here, let's give a check. No need to take the bishop. We can do this. Check. Now we'll take the bishop, and that really is going to be the end very soon. Well, that was great fun, and I think shows that Wesley somehow he's confident at the moment, and I think his confidence took a hit a couple of years ago after the candidates tournament in 2018, but he seems to be back on form, and his recent success in the Skilling Open will no doubt do him a lot of good. Be very interesting to see how he plays in his first classical tournament, whenever that will be. But at the moment, online and in Rapid Chess, he's looking pretty good. Let me know, do you have a favourite game by Wesley So? Check out Wesley's games in the playlist on the channel. I might have given it already, but if there's another one that you like, do let me know and I'll certainly consider looking at it. Thanks for watching.